Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this final lecture of the Level 3 Umpiring course hosted by Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. My name is Abdullah Steenkamp. My usual co-presenter for this evening will be Tom Okarosi. And we have a special guest this evening. And he will be kicking off our lecture. And his name is Allahudien Paleker. He just landed back from doing a ODI and Test series in Sri Lanka. So welcome back, Allahudien. Good to have you back in the country. So the format of tonight's lecture will be as follows. We will kick off with Allahudien. We have him for the first part of the lecture. And what we're going to cover with him is we're going to cover the recent changes and additions that the International Cricket Council brought to the international playing conditions. We'll go through a few of them and just what they are, and just to understand, the reason behind these changes. We will then allow about 3 or 4 questions on these changes, and then about 3 general questions for Allahudien. Before we'll allow him to go back to his family. As I said, he just arrived back from Sri Lanka, and thank you so much for giving us your time. After that, I'll hand over to Tom. He's then going to go through some revision questions as well as some admin. So kicking off, our special guest, Allahudien Paleker. Good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Abdullah, and good evening to everyone. Always a pleasure.
And how was your ODI and Test series in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, it was a good experience. It really tests your skills and concentration levels, and it's quite hot and humid, so it's conditions that's very foreign to me. And then you're also playing on pitches that turn from basically day one in the tests, and the ODIs. You normally think they'll be good pitches, but also offered quite a bit of turn and a bit of inconsistent bounce. So it's quite testing the conditions. And quite a good experience, and it went well. So that's most important.
Yeah, I followed your progress while over there, and you're being modest. You had an amazing Test and ODI series, so well done to you. So kicking off our first portion, Palis, there were recent changes to the playing conditions effective 17 June 2025, and it coincided with your Test series. So you were you and the rest of your team were the first umpires that officiated under the new ICC playing conditions. In our very first lecture, we've covered the changes to the boundary law. So what I want to discuss with you tonight is there were some other changes as well that the ICC brought, and I want to emphasize these changes are currently only applicable to international matches under the ICC's or International Cricket Council banner. But I'm sure most of the other countries and the various boards will also incorporate some of these playing conditions in their competitions. So, Palis, to kick off, the one of the first playing conditions that they changed was the deliberate short run. There was an addition that they made to this particular law, Palis. So they kept the law exactly the same, but they added one thing, and that thing in particular is where now the fielding captain can now choose who should face the next delivery. That is what they added to when it comes to a deliberate uh, short run. So just take us through this, Palis. Just the also the the logic, and I think it's actually an amazing change to to the playing condition. So over to you, Palis.
Yeah, so actually, I'm actually part of the ICC Almanac group. So we discuss, I think we're about 8 or 9 of us where we're on this committee, where we discuss these changes and obviously input from the other international umpires and other umpires from around the world. It doesn't only have to be international umpires. You can send me anything you think that should change. We discuss it and we send this forward to the cricket committee. And I can tell you, we had about, I think, about 20 to 25 points that we considered that should change. And more than half of them were shot down by the committee, which said, no, we don't think we should change that. We should just leave it as is. So after the last meeting, these were the changes that they agreed to. And like you said, my first test in Sri Lanka, we were the guinea pigs to trial all these new playing conditions in the test matches and then also the ODIs. And I left Sri Lanka because I'm not involved in the T20 series. So they now using the changes for the T20 internationals as well. So there's a few changes that you know will fall under the Test, ODI, and T20s, and then there's a couple of changes that's more specific to the white ball. So the first one is the deliberate short run. So basically, we decided on this is most of the time when you have a number 3 batsman batting with a number 10 batsman and he wants to try and farm the strike and he hits the ball to the boundary and he thinks he can get back for 2. And before completing the first run, he sees he's not going to make it and he decides to turn short deliberately so that he can make it back to the other end and still be on strike and therefore maybe only scoring 1 run. So we just felt that it's unfair on the fielding team because he's trying to manipulate the strike by running short. So they just added this clause. So if it is deliberate, so again, the umpires have to first decide whether it's deliberate or not. And if they do decide it's deliberate, the law is still applied as it was before. The only addition now is that the fielding team can now decide which batsman is on strike. So if the number 3 batsman hits the ball to cover and he runs and 3/4 of the way decides, I'm not going to make it, and he turns and goes back to the striker's end, then no runs will be scored, 5 penalty runs, the usual application of the law. But now the fielding team can say, okay, we want the number 10 batsman, he must face the next few balls. So this will discourage teams from taking deliberate short runs. And on the other hand, they've also now allowed uh, where the batsman can abort the run. So this is now not deliberate. So the batsman starts running and they get halfway and they decide, you know what, we're not going to get back for 2 or there's still 3 balls left. I rather have you face the spinner and I face the seamer, and they can change their mind and just go back. So when that happens, then no action is taken. So it's important to know the difference between the deliberate action and the action where the batsman just decide we're aborting the run and we're not gonna take any runs. Over.
Uh, yeah, thanks for that, Palis. The second one was with about concussion replacements. They've now changed it that the um, replacement player will now inherit whether it's penalty time, any warnings, etc. of the player, the concussion replacement will inherit all those.
Yeah. So another change that they've made is this is not so much in domestic cricket. Well, maybe in first class cricket, I think. Like you said, these are ICC playing conditions. It's up to home boards to decide how they want to incorporate that in their playing conditions. But in international cricket, this is what we're currently now enforcing. So at the toss, the captain now gives the match ref his team list, which has the well, it's a team list of 15 usually. It's the 11 playing 11 and 4 subs. So that's the 15. That's, they can be subs and come onto the field, if there's an injury or whatever the case is. But in the concussion replacement playing condition, they've added a team list where also at the toss, the captain has to nominate 5 players who he thinks will replace somebody on the day. So they have a batsman, they have a wicket keeper, they have a all-rounder, they have a spin bowler, they have a seamer. So there's 5 names that you have to put on that sheet at the toss. So in the event when there is a concussion replacement, it's very easy, because if there's a batsman that concussed, he's just replaced by the batsman which you already nominated. And these names don't have to be from the playing 11. I mean the 15, the list of 15 that you gave. They don't necessarily have to be on that list. So you can have names on that list of people that are not even at the venue, and they just thought that it's easier to manage that way, because when there is a concussion replacement, it's a process. You need an independent doctor's report, and then it must be a like for like replacement, and then the match referee has to decide. And then sometimes the teams don't have that like for like player at the venue. Then they need to make alternate, and it just wastes time.
Mm.
So they've just said this is an easier process. So it's just a straight swap. If a bowler gets concussed, right, which name is on the concussion sheet, he'll replace him, and it's done. And so what they have said now is, because of this replacement, if a bowler has any warnings for, like you said, penalty time and that, so this player takes part fully in the game. A concussion replacement is different to a substitute. So he comes in and he takes part in the game. It counts as statistics for him. It's a match towards his name. So they just felt he's coming into the game. All the discrepancies and all the things that the player that is being replaced, he has to inherit all those warnings. So it just makes it easier for us also. If you know
Mm.
that player A, he owes 25 minutes penalty time and he comes on now, then this player, the replacement, concussion replacement, he also needs to serve 25 minutes before he can bowl. Over.
Yeah, thanks for that clarity, Palis. Next one, Palis, was there's a slight change with when players use saliva on the ball. There's a slight change in the punishment. Can you take us through that change, Palis?
Yeah, so again, here I see this year in the IPL they've allowed saliva again on the ball. So again, it's up to individual boards to enforce it. But in international cricket, still no saliva is allowed. Um, in the past, it was saliva falls under changing the condition of the ball. So if they do apply saliva, then you have to change the ball. They've now changed that and said the umpires now have the option to change the ball. I see over this last couple of days, there's been lots of talk in the media about the balls being used in the test between England and India, using its shape and getting it changed, and that. So at some point there's a deliberate ploy to get the ball changed, because maybe it's not swinging, or it's got soft. So teams, this was just a loophole, because if a team wanted the ball to be changed, they'll just apply saliva on there and then the umpires change the ball.
Mm.
So now it's up to the umpires to decide whether to change the ball or not when saliva is being put on. So you just inspect and see the condition of it. So it's just basically there so that teams cannot manipulate to change the ball.
Mm.
Over.
Thanks, Palis. Next, slight change to the TV umpires protocols. I see now the TV umpire can check at any given time whether a ball pitch on or off the pitch.
Yeah, so normally or previously you could only check this on dismissal. And the way the game's going these days, a difference between a wide and a no ball can be costly, because in the no ball you have a free hit. The batsman cannot be dismissed, and the way the game's changing, you need to be able to refer these things, which we couldn't in the past. So we just felt that also sometimes bowlers run straight down your, after delivering the ball and they follow through, they're straight in line with you. You can't see whether it pitched
Mm.
on the pitch or off the pitch. And it's crucial that we get that decision right. So we just found that the technology is there. We may as well use it. And we can just refer these types of no balls now to the TV umpire. So you don't have to either guess, or because most of the time you give the benefit to the bowling team if you can't see. If it's marginally pitch on or off and you can't see, you'll just call it as a fair delivery if it's not a wide. Over.
Next one, or next two is about your slight changes to the DRS protocol with regards to a secondary review and an out decision was given. So there's a slight change. So just take us through that change, Palis.
Yeah, so this is quite an important change in terms of the DRS protocols. So let's say a batsman is given out caught behind. So he's given out caught behind and he reviews. And while going through the review, you see that the ball missed the bat. So there's no bat involved. Therefore, he can't be out caught behind. But the ball brushes the pad. So that's maybe the sound that the umpire heard. So when there's a review or when there's an appeal, it covers all forms of dismissals. Therefore, now the TV umpire, he has to now look further than the caught behind. And because there was no bat, he now needs to check LBW. So in the past, so the primary decision is caught behind, which was given out, and that came up as not out. Now you're checking the secondary decision, which is LBW. And because you gave it out, well, that's now the new law. So let's talk about the old law. So the old law, all secondary decisions started off with not out. So now you go to ball tracking and you see that it's pitched outside off and impact is umpire's call and wickets is hitting. So because there's an umpire's call involved, the secondary decision was not out. It has to stay not out. Now, according to the new playing condition, the batsman was given out caught. So whatever your decision for the primary decision is, the same will apply for the secondary decision. So now the secondary decision doesn't start off with not out, it starts off with out. And because it's umpire's call, the batsman is now given out. So in the past, it was not out and now it's out. So it makes a big difference because it also makes a difference in terms of the teams losing reviews or not. Over.
Yeah, thanks for that, Palis. Last one about DRS and its protocols. There's also a slight change when it comes to combined reviews, Palis.
Yeah, so in the combined reviews, I don't know who came up with that idea where we had to look at the four things. Is the runs the same? Is the new batsman on strike? And all those type of things. So they've just now made it much simpler by looking at decisions in chronological order. So that means whichever happens first. So for example, ball hits the pad and trickles down to fine leg. There's an appeal. The umpire says not out. Now the batsman decide to run, and the throw is at the striker's end, and the batsman's out of his crease, or it's a close run out, and now the umpire wants to refer it. Now because of the LBW, or let's change that scenario where it hits the batsman, they run through, the striker runs to the non-striker's end, and the non-striker, he gets run out at the striker's end, and there's an appeal. Now you want to send up the run out at the striker's end, and the fielding team wants to review the LBW. So there's now a decision on the striker and a decision on the non-striker. So because the LBW happened first, you now first have to check the LBW, and only if that is not out, then we go and check the run out. If the LBW is out, there's no need to check the run out for the non-striker. So they've just made it easier now. We just look at the order in which these decisions need to be made. Over.
Yeah, yeah, chronological order. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. Makes our lives as TV umpires so much easier. And next one, Palis, was and we see it cropping up these days in all these franchise competitions. The tactical retirement of batters. So now there's been a change here as well. So if a batter retires for any other reason except injury or illness, what was the change they've now made to the playing condition, Palis?
Yeah, so let's say a team is 3 wickets down and this guy can't get it off the square and they somehow want to get somebody in that can hit it sixes, especially in T20 cricket. That batsman used to be retired out so that the next guy can come and bat. And actually, there's a typing error on the document. It says DRS. It's supposed to be DLS requirements. So for Duckworth Lewis, so now instead of the team being 3 wickets down, because of the retirement of that batsman, it's actually 4 wickets down. So it makes a difference to the target score that teams need to chase. So we just felt that if the batting team wants to manipulate the situation by getting in a batsman that can score quicker than the other, then somehow they need to be penalized somewhere along the line because they can't have their bread buttered on both sides by
Mm,
having a big hitter there and retirement.
mm,
And the other difference here is that we know once a batter retires out, he can resume his innings at the consent of the opposing captain.
mm,
But in this case, if he retires out, he's out. He cannot bat again. He's out of the game. He's out.
mm. Yeah,
Over.
yeah. I love this change. Thanks for clarifying that, Palis. Next one. I see they've now introduced the stop clock between overs in Test match cricket. So how was that for your Test match, Palis? I mean, I know you've done it in the limited overs version, but now in Test match cricket.
Yeah, so it actually in our game it went quite well. The teams embraced it, and we didn't really have any issues. It went smoothly. But the reason for that is again, I see there's been lots of talk during the series
Mm,
about playing 6.5 hours of cricket, and they still can't finish the 90 overs.
mm,
I think after was it 3 days? After the first 3 days, they lost 32 overs in the
mm,
test match, England versus India. So
mm,
the overrates has been a huge problem, and the ICC just thought maybe this is one way of trying to speed up things so that they can change quicker between overs. But as you know, the teams always find a loophole for anything. So they
mm,
change quickly between overs. They bowl one ball and then they delay the game and start
mm,
changing things and.
mm,
But yeah, it has sped up the game in white ball cricket, but test is just on a trial basis now. And I think it's a good thing, just to get guys ready. We can't control what they do during the over, but at least we can control now what happens between overs.
mm. Yeah. Thanks for that, Palis. Penultimate one is an ODI playing condition change, and is with regards to the two balls that are used in innings. So there was a slight change to this, Palis. Just take us through this ball changes in ODI.
Yeah, so again, the committee felt that in ODI cricket, it's been being dominated by the bat. We strict with wides and things like that. So there's no give to the bowlers. With the two new balls, pitches are so good, outfields are lush, so the ball doesn't deteriorate. And they just felt that the element of reverse swing has been taken out of the game. And they just thought maybe if we use one ball for the last 16 overs, maybe reverse swing could come back into it. So what they did is you use two balls at the start of the game, and at the end of the 34th over, the fielding captain he can choose which one of the two balls to use for the remainder of the innings. And if I just go back to the 3 ODIs that I was involved in Sri Lanka, the first one we played on quite a turning pitch, so there was no need to bowl spin, no need to bowl seamers. So there was quite a lot of spinners bowling. So the ball was quite in a good condition. There was no real reverse swing. But if I go back to the last ODI, which was in Kandy, which was a different venue, a little bit more abrasive, the surface. And towards the end, there was a bit of reverse swing, which we didn't get in the first two games. So it did make a bit of a difference using one ball at the end of the innings. Also, the ball does become a bit softer, so batsmen can't hit it that easy. So I think this is a good change just to level the playing fields.
I agree. And lastly, Palis, a change to the T20 playing conditions with regards to power play. They're now rounding the power play in a shortened game to the nearest ball.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting one. Again, they're just saying everything is for the batters, dominated. Uh, in a T20 game, there's 6 overs of power play, which is a percentage of 20 overs, and they just felt let's just keep that percentage consistent throughout the game. So if you have, for example, maybe a 17-over game, then I think the power play used to be 5 overs, but they just thought let's just make it, we're losing 3 overs, but we're only taking 1 over of power play away. So in a 17-over game, you could possibly have a power play of 4.4, 4 overs and 4 balls. So midway through the over, the umpire will signal the power play signal, which means it's the end of the first power play. And there is a table for that, and this is only in a reduced game. So whenever there's a reduced game and you need to reduce the power play, you use the table, and the overs left in the game will determine how long the power play is. So you could have like a 3.2 over power play, for example, in maybe a 12-over game.
Mm-hmm.
So so you just use the table, and power plays are no longer full overs. They are overs and balls in T20 cricket. Over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks, Palis. These are the changes that the ICC made to the playing conditions for international cricket. I'm very interested to see how many of these playing conditions filters down to domestic cricket. So yeah, in South Africa, the domestic season only starts late September, early October. We should get the playing conditions for domestic cricket probably sometime in August. So I'm looking forward to see how many of these changes gets included in the Cricket South Africa domestic competition. Before we let you go, Palis, I'm going to open the floor. I'm going to allow 3 questions, and you can ask Palis any questions with regards to the changes, if you need any clarity on the playing condition changes that we've discovered. And then I'm going to allow 2 other questions, just general questions that you want to ask Allahudien. No issue. So we're going to start with 3 questions, just about the changes to the playing conditions that the ICC made. The floor is now open. So raise your hand. Um, I've got a raised hand, and his name is Tom Mukarosi.
Good evening, Abdullah, and good day to everyone. Palis, how are you?
Yeah, all good, thanks, good. Just recovering from a bit of jet lag and tiredness, and but otherwise all good.
Great. Thanks for joining us and sharing all the changes and explaining all of them to our candidates. And I think what I've noticed is they'll probably have questions sort of as and when these playing conditions start becoming live for their matches, whatever level they're umpiring. Because I've felt the same as well now, having been involved in this quadrangular international T20 tournament in Malawi. So the teams don't like the stop clock. It's something new that they need to adjust to. In between overs, a minute sounds like a long time, but especially when there's a change of bowling, obviously the captain needs to set the field for the new bowler. But what we found was a bit of an issue, and we weren't sure how to handle it, Palis. Maybe you can give your insight at a higher level. What happens if, for example, the second over of a match or any innings, the striker will take guard for the first ball because that's the first ball that's been bowled from that second end? Are we going to be strict and still apply the 60-second limit in terms of bowling the first ball, or because the batter is taking strike, are we going to be more lenient? I know the playing condition does give sort of exceptions as to when you don't take the stop clock time into account. For example, if a wicket falls or if there's a drinks break, but it doesn't say anything about a batter taking guard. So what's your opinion on that particular scenario, please, Palis?
Yeah, so the stop clock is there for the fielding team, so it's nothing to do with the batters. So the playing condition says the fielding team should be in position to bowl, so they don't have to bowl the ball. So if
Okay.
they're in position to bowl, they're ready, and the batsman's not ready. So we have the 60-second time on the scoreboard. The TV umpire will give us a heads up and says 50 seconds, 55 seconds, and then we'll just say 50 or whatever. And if we see the fielding team is ready and the batsman is not ready, then we just go back on the radio and said, batter not ready. Because it doesn't only happen in the first or second over, it happens during the innings as well. You know, if a new
Sure.
batsman comes on strike. So as long as they're ready, we just say batter not ready. And then we actually give them an allowance for that. If they're ready and the batsman's not ready, is taking guard, or you even find, especially now in Sri Lanka with the heat. I mean, it was like 35 degrees with like 100% humidity. So the
Sure.
batsman, after like 15 minutes of batting, their gloves are wet and they need to
Yeah.
change, or they need a towel or something like that. So often when they get on, then they have a drink of water and this and that. And we just told the fielding team, the clock will be running. When
Yeah.
that 60 seconds is finished and you're not in position, even though the batsman is not ready, then you will get a warning.
Okay.
So you must just be in position. If the batsmen are not ready, then you get an allowance for that. So again, that will differ from PCT to PCT, how they want to interpret it. I mean, we gave Bangladesh, in fact, Sri Lanka, we gave Sri Lanka in the first ODI. I think it was number 9 or 10 batsmen batting, and they wanted to. I think the game was long gone. That was actually a game where Bangladesh were chasing, I think, about 220, and they were 100 for 1,
Okay.
and they were 104 for 8.
Sure.
In 26 balls, they lost 7 wickets for 4 runs.
Wowza.
So then these oaks were just blocking at the end. So then they wanted to bowl bouncers and stuff like that. So they got one of the guys to go and get his pads and stuff for short leg. And he was
Okay.
changing on the field. And we were waiting for him. So as soon as 60 seconds was over, we said, Captain, your time is up. You're not ready. You're not in position to bowl. He said, but the field is putting on the pads. And so I said, yes, the playing condition actually allows a fielder to leave the field to change his pads for 1 over without serving penalty time. But because they were not prepared and didn't know what the game plan was, they wasted their time. And that was actually their third and final warning. So for the
Okay.
first time in ODI cricket, we gave 5 penalty runs to the batting team for the fielding team not being in position. So it happened once in the T20 World Cup. I think it was Nepal or one of those teams, one of the smaller teams. They got penalized 5 penalty runs for not being ready. And this was the first instance in an ODI. So there is, you can be lenient. It is up to the on-field guys, but as long as the fielding team is ready, then you won't warn them. Over.
Perfect. Thanks, Palis.
Thanks for that question, Tom. Any questions for Polly? While we still have him, everyone, ask your question. Or any general question. Doesn't have to be about the changes to the playing conditions.
Mr. Paleker, how was your experience?
His hand is up.
Yeah, Nomula, I see your hand is up. Can you unmute your microphone, please, and ask Palish your question?
I come here, Abdullah. Special
Hello,
mention to
Nomula.
our guest today, Mr. Allahudien Paleker. Thank you for joining for the session today. So my question is regarding one of the existing playing conditions, especially in a WTC final, because that's the only test where you have a reserve day attached to a test match. So my question is, when will the reserve day actually come into picture, and what its effect on the follow-on application? Because, for example, if entire day one is lost and no play has taken place, and the play actually starts on day two. So, will the reserve day actually come into picture now, and we still have 5 days of play, and team batting first requires at least 200 runs, or we still consider it a 4-day game, and the follow-on rules will be at least 150 because it's a 4-day game now, and the reserve day will actually come at the end of day 5 if the result isn't possible by the end of day 5. So that's my question.
Okay, if I understand the question, it's about the reserve day. So I haven't done a World Test Championship final, so I haven't read those playing conditions. But if I just remember correctly, the reserve day was only there in order to get a result. So the game starts off as a 5-day game and it remains a 5-day game. So if the first day is rained out, then it becomes a 4-day game. And obviously the follow on and all those things change. And if at the end of day 5 we still don't have a result, then you use day 5. So I think it was just brought about so that we have a winner. Basically, that's what the reserve day is there for. Over.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you.
Thanks for your question, Nomula. Any other questions before we let Allahudien go back to his family and get some well-deserved rest as well?
Vinny, you started saying something. Did you want to ask a question or were you just saying hi? Vinny's on mute, so we'll go to
We'll go to
Ian.
Ian. Ian, you may ask your question to Palish.
Hi, evening, guys, and thanks for your time. But can you let us know? I mean, these changes are through the ICC. When will they be actually put through into the laws of cricket through the MCC?
Yeah, so these will never be, these are playing conditions, so they don't replace the laws of the game. So the MCC, they're the custodians of the game. They have the MCC Laws Committee. We send recommendations through them. They decide what to change and not to change. I think the court, the boundary catch, that is a change in law. But all these are not changes in laws. These are just changes in playing conditions. And playing conditions, they override the laws of the game. For example, maybe you guys can help me, the two trainers. Do you still cover runners in the laws?
Yes. Law 25 still provides for
But
law for
nobody
runners.
in any leagues that I know of uses runners. But the runner is still in the laws of the game. But I think maybe one or two school leagues, like I know here in the Northerns League, we still have runners. Oh, well, that's when I last umpired a school game. But runners are not allowed in any playing conditions in any leagues that I've umpired in, or any provincial tournaments or that. But it's still part of the laws of the game. So the playing conditions is just there to override the laws of the game and adapt to what the ICC feels is easier to allow in a game compared to the laws of the game. I think there's another one about the wides, isn't the wides, the laws in the wides and how playing conditions are different interpreted.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there are a couple of laws that we don't use because the playing conditions override it. So these will never be written in the laws of the game. These are just how to apply them in matches. Over.
Thank you.
Thanks for your question, Ian. If there's no other questions for Palis, I want to thank you so much, Palis, for joining us for this level 3 course. We've learned so much from you, all of us. Enjoy your family time. Enjoy, getting back to the South African time zone as well as the weather. I can imagine coming from 100% humidity, 40 degrees, and coming back to probably you in the Highveld, so it's probably minus in the morning. So, yeah, good luck adjusting. Enjoy the rest of your evening and go well. Bye, Palis.
Thanks for all that. Thanks, always a pleasure. And all the best to you guys for the rest of the course, and enjoy, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah, we've got your number. We'll phone you again.
Cheers, Palis.
Cheers,
Okay,
Palis.
cheers, guys. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Tom, over to you.
Thank you so much, Abdullah, and to Palis as well. Good day again to everybody. I am going to be taking you through some revision questions. And after the revision questions, we will go through the logistics for the exam coming up. And also I'll talk about the restrictions in terms of who is allowed to receive a Cricket South Africa Level 3 certificate. And if you do pass the exam, but you don't qualify due to practical experience not being met, what will you get then? And then we'll also touch on the Exam Online website, which we started using in January of this year for a Level 3 exam, and we used it again in May. Most of you would have written Level 2 with us using the Exam Online proctoring website. So we'll talk through those logistics after the revision questions. And of course, any questions that you might have on any content that we've covered, as well as any logistics that you need to know about, we can go through those together after the revision questions. So the first couple of revision questions are related to Law 41, unfair play. And then we have the last few revision questions are just generally picked from different laws that we've covered over the last 5 lectures. You'll remember that we covered the revision for level 1 in lecture 1, revision for level 2 in lecture 2, and then we started with level 3 content in lecture number 3. So these questions cover lectures 3, 4, 5, and 6 that we had last week, Thursday. So the first one is an 8-mark question. So you need to have a fair amount of detail in your answer. And what I always advise exam candidates in level 2 and level 3, especially level 3, is you obviously cannot have a one-liner answer for an 8-mark question. So some candidates know the answer and they give correct information, but not enough information to warrant 8 marks. So how you need to approach these questions is you need to not necessarily quote the law verbatim, but you need to write down your understanding of the relevant law that is being tested in the scenario, and then apply that law to the scenario if it is a out or not out scenario. And then you need to obviously give your answer out or not out. And then, as mentioned in our first set of revision questions, if there is any running involved in the scenario, then you need to mention how many runs are scored and who will face the next delivery. And then if there is overs mentioned in the day and overs mentioned in the scenario, then you need to tell us how many overs are remaining in the day's play. So those are the type of additional information that are going to help you to get the maximum amount of marks when answering a question. Another one as well, which we often overlook, is how many balls are left in the over. Okay, because sometimes when the ball is dead or becomes dead, the ball needs to be reballed. Sometimes that dead ball does count as a legal delivery in the over. We need to know the differences. And I do have a slide that tells you when a ball is delivered, it becomes dead, but the ball needs to be reballed. I will, while we're going through our question and answer session, try and find that slide to show it to you. It's added information to the course, but it's useful for you to know so that practically on the field you can apply it correctly, and then also in your exam you can mention how many balls are left. If a dead ball has been bowled, you will know if it needs to be rebowled or if it has counted as a legal delivery in the over. So having said all of that, let's get to our first revision question for the evening. And you will see again that the numbers jump around a little bit because on the email that I will send tomorrow with these revision questions, we have covered some of them in past lectures with video scenarios. So we're not going to repeat those video scenarios tonight. Question 22. Describe the procedure to be followed by the bowler's end umpire in dealing with a bowler who repeatedly follows through into the protected area from the first instant to the last instant of the umpire's involvement. First hand up, all the way from Florida in the US, Mike Williams. Please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Can you hear me, Tom?
Yes, loud and clear. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, fantastic. If the bowler does it the first time, you caution them and inform the other umpire what has occurred. That caution will apply throughout the innings. And you inform the captain of the fielding side as well what has occurred. If in the same innings, that bowler again goes into the protected area, he gets a final warning, not a first, but a final warning. And that warning also applies throughout the rest of the innings. If he does it a third time, then he's removed, and the over will be completed by another bowler. And then you inform and report after you've talked to the captains and inform everybody of what's happening.
Good start. Solid answer, Mike. Again, absolutely everything that you have mentioned is correct. I just want to add or ask you to add to your own answer. That bowler that will replace the suspended bowler, there are some restrictions on
Yes,
that bowler.
he can't have bowled the previous over or the next.
Correct, 100%.
Yes.
And then I think it would also just be good to mention that we as umpires need to instruct the captain of the fielding side to remove the bowler from the attack.
Yes.
So that is, it is not for us to tell the bowler you're done. It is for us to mention to the fielding captain for him or her to remove the bowler from the bowling attack immediately. So good, well done. Again, I would say 6 out of 8 for your answer. How do we get to that 8 out of 8? I've given you some ammunition to take into your exam with come next week, Saturday or Monday, depending on which day you've chosen to write, Mike. Next question. And we are going back here to, I think, lecture number 4, which was the second level 3 content lecture, dealing with last hour calculations. Question reads as follows. The last hour starts at 5 p.m. After 3.5 overs, it starts to rain and players leave the field at 17:15. After a ground inspection by the umpires, it is decided to resume play at 17:32. Show with calculations how many overs still need to be bowled in the last hour. Now, when you have a question with 2 parts, the best thing you can do for yourself is answer one part first and then only start with the second part. So I saw Nomula's hand up. Nomula, I'm happy for you to answer the first part of this question. And after you've done so successfully, which I'm sure you will, then we will allow somebody else to answer the second part of the question. So Nomula, please unmute your microphone and take us through question 24, part 1.
So in the last hour, we need to bowl a minimum of 20 overs, and after 3.5 overs, there is a rain interruption. So we still need to bowl 16.1 overs in the last hour, and the playing time lost is 17 minutes from 5:15 to 5:32. So that's about 17 minutes.
Yeah.
And we need to deduct 1 hour for every complete 3 minutes of time lost. So we lose about 5 overs. So the calculation is 20 minus 3.5, that is 16.1, minus the 5 overs for the time lost. So it will be 11.1 overs still need to be bowled. That is, and first thing we do once we come back from the interruption is finish the 4th over and plus 11 more overs. So total of 11.1.
100% correct, Nomula. Well done. If I remember correctly from the previous revision questions on last hour, one of the candidates thought that we need to, when there's an interruption, we need to round up or round down overs that were bowled. No. When there's an interruption, we still need to complete that over when we come back after the interruption ends. So Nomula has taken through the calculation perfectly, in that he has mentioned the number of overs required to be bowled in the last hour, and that is a minimum of 20 overs. Then you calculate how many overs you lose due to the interruption. He's taken 17:15 to 17:32, which is 17 minutes. And how many full 3-minute overs fit into 17? Well, if you use your calculator and you say 17 divided by 3, it gives you an answer of 5.66666 recurring. And so here, because we want to play more cricket, and because the law tells us we only lose an over after every full 3 minutes, then we only lose 5 overs. So 5 times 3 is 15. So minute number 16 and minute number 17, we don't have minute number 18 to make a 6th full over. So in this scenario, we always round down so that we do not lose more overs. We lose as few overs as possible. So the formula is overs required to be bowled in the last hour, 20, minus overs bowled, 3.5, gives you 16.1, minus overs lost due to the interruption is 5, gives you 11.1. Perfect. Well done, Nomula. 4 marks. Very well earned and described there. Second part of this question. After the completion of the over, and this is the 4th over, as you can see, remember we were at 3.5 overs when it started to rain. So the question goes on to state, after the completion of the over, a further 2.3 overs are bowled and the batting team is bowled out at 17:40. Show with calculations how many overs still need to be bowled in the last hour. So quite important here is that we remember when we resumed at 17:32, we had 11.1 overs remaining. So that is our new starting point. And remember as well that when there is a change of innings in the last hour, we need 2 calculations. That is as much help as I'm going to give you. And now I'm going to open the floor up to give anyone an opportunity who would like to try answer part 2 of question 24. And we're looking for new hands, please, those who have not attempted an answer yet. Abdullah, is this a very difficult one that nobody is volunteering?
No, Tom, there is a volunteer, Conrad.
There we
Yippee.
go.
Give us your answer.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. So there was 11.1 overs remaining in the day's play, in the last hour.
Yeah.
And then obviously that one ball was bowled. So then they completed that over. So it would have been 11 overs remaining. And then they bowled 2.3 overs. And then that team was bowled out, which means at that stage, there was 8.3 overs remaining in the day. But due to the innings change, we'll have to round that up to 9 overs remaining. So it's rounded up, so there will be 9 overs remaining in the last hour of play. So that's the one side of the calculation. Then we have to go to the time. So at 17:40, That was when the team was bowled out. That's when the innings ended. Then we have to see how much time is left in the day. Obviously, there's 20 minutes left in the day for that last hour, because the last hour started at 5, so it will end at 6. So that means there's 20 minutes left in the day's play in the last hour. We have to deduct 10 minutes for the interval. So that means 20 minus 10. There's only 10 minutes left then for play to resume. And then we'll have, if we go and calculate that, 1 over takes 3 minutes. So that means we'll only have 3 overs if we go according to time. So then remember, we have to use the greater answer was what will be used. So if we have to compare, that means overs remaining, we'll have 9 left. But if we go look at time, we'll only be able to fit in 3. So that means we'll go with 9 overs. So there will be 9 overs remaining to be bowled in the last hour.
Okay, Conrad, you're there and thereabouts. You're quite correct that we need 2 calculations when there is a change of innings in the last hour. Those 2 calculations are an overs-based calculation and a time-based calculation. Now, the overs-based calculation, I'm sure you will knock yourself in the head for this. What happens when there's a change of innings in the last hour? You said there's 9 overs remaining, but because we're losing 10 minutes for the change of innings, what else do we need to lose?
Yeah, we have to obviously remember the interval. That's 10 minutes, and that's where we're losing 3 overs there. So 9 minus 3 is 6 overs then.
Correct. Okay, so I think that's our answer for the overs-based calculation. And then the time-based calculation. You're quite right. There are 10 minutes remaining in the day after we've taken our 10-minute changeover. So now you also correctly said that because 20 overs are meant to be bowled in an hour, it equates to 3 minutes per over. But now remember, we want to play more cricket, right? So if you take 3-minute overs, 3, 6, and 9, that gives us 3 overs. Have we used up the 10 minutes yet? If we only bowl 3 overs, have we used up 10 minutes yet?
No, we did not.
Okay, so this way, what we need to do is we need to say 10 divided by 3 gives us 3.33. And yes, it's less than 3.5, but because we want to play more cricket, we need to round that 3.33 up to 4 overs. So our time-based calculation will give us 4 overs. Our overs-based calculation gave us 6 overs. And so you're quite right again. We need to choose the higher of those 2 calculations. And obviously 6 is higher than 4 or greater than 4. So we will have 6 overs remaining in the day. Do you understand how we've got to 6 overs remaining in the day, Conrad?
Yes, perfectly. I totally forgot about that interval that I had to subtract from there.
Cool, no problem. Abdullah, again, I'm doing these calculations off the top of my head. I hope you are writing them down and checking them for me so that we're not giving the candidates the wrong information here.
Spot on, Tom.
Great stuff. Thanks, Dula. Next question number 25. And what you will see is that, remember, our exams, level 1, level 2, and level 3 are all law-based exams. However, in the level 3 exam, you are given some playing conditions that you need to apply and add to the law. And it's usually around the length of an innings, or sorry, the length of a day's play. So here are our playing times for a 3-day match, which we are going to add to the laws and answer the questions given. So our morning session is from 10 until 12:20. Then we've got a 40-minute lunch break. Our afternoon session is also 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's from 1 p.m. until 15:20. And then we have our tea break, which is from 15:20 to 15:40. And our evening session is from 15:40 until 6 p.m. And the playing conditions require a minimum of 104 overs to be bowled in a day. There is a drinks break in the middle of each session, which is 4 minutes long. So after an hour and 10 minutes into each session, we will have a 4-minute drinks break. So here are the questions that follow these playing conditions. Western Province Colts are bowling on day 1. They go into lunch at 12:22. Okay, so we know that we need to wait until the end of an over before we call lunch. It can't be before 12:20. It obviously can be after 12:20. And in this scenario, lunch was called at 12:22. Boland Colts were batting at lunch and were on 103 runs for 4 wickets after 32 overs. Western Province Colts captain Quinton Dreyer does not take the field after lunch due to an upset stomach. At 14:27, Boland Colts are bowled out for 167 after 51.3 overs. First question, pretty straightforward. How many overs remain in the day's play? And we need to look at the time that the innings ends. Is it near the tea break? Are we going to move tea forward? Or are we going to take the 10-minute change of interval there and then? And what happens when we have a 10-minute change of interval? Conrad has just been reminded. So for 2 marks, at the change of innings on day 1, how many overs are left in the day's play? This is a pretty straightforward one. I expect to have 10 hands going up at the same time, but I will wait just for one. Ian, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Okay. Because they bowled 51.3 overs, and then there's going to be 3 overs taken out for the interval. It makes that 54 overs. So 54 from the 104 leaves you 50 overs left for the day. We won't take tea straight away because it's not inside the 30 minutes. So we'll carry on, play the game, and then go in for tea later.
Ian, just take us slowly through how many overs are bowled when Boland Colts are all out?
51.3.
Okay, so what do we do with that 0.3?
Round it up.
We need to round it up. Correct.
So 52. So there's 49 overs left in the day's play.
So it's 52 bowled plus the 3 for the change of innings is 55, and 104 minus 55 is 49 overs remaining in the day's play.
Yeah.
And you're quite correct. We cannot take tea immediately because we are more than half an hour to the scheduled tea break when that change of innings occurs. Okay, so we just got to be careful with rounding up or rounding down. How I remember it is if innings ends outside of the last hour of a match, you round that over up. So even if you've only bowled one ball in the 52nd over, you would say 52 overs have been bowled for the day. And then you add the 3 for the change of innings, and then you subtract that total from the minimum that you need to bowl in the day's play. Cool. Now, that was the easy part. I don't expect you to answer this yet. We'll wait for another hand. Question 25.2. When can Quinton Dreyer bat for Western Province? So this is a penalty time question, and I'll read through the points that matter the most in terms of the penalty time that Quinton Dreyer has to serve. So we noted that lunch was taken at 12:22, and remember that lunch is of the agreed duration of 40 minutes. So lunch was taken from 12:22 until 13:02. Okay. And Quinton Dreyer did not take the field after lunch due to an upset stomach. Borland was still batting after lunch. They carried on batting until 14:27 when they were bowled out. Just keep in mind that before they were bowled out, there was a drinks break in that session. It would have been an hour and 10 minutes into the session. So 1300, let's call it 1300 plus an hour, 10 minutes. That would be at 14:10. There would have been a 4-minute drinks break. So I saw a hand up. Ian, you still got your hand up, I think, from the previous question.
No, okay, I wasn't, but carry on.
Sorry. Nomula's got his hand up. I would love to get some input from new candidates, if anybody is willing and able to take us through this penalty time example. Otherwise, we will go for our regulars. Please, guys, this session is for you to better your understanding and also to improve your answering techniques for level 3 type questions. Not a problem if you get your answers incorrect here. You will learn a lot more by trying than just listening to somebody else giving the answer. Final countdown from 10 for a new hand for the penalty time question. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If we're not going to have any new hands, then I am happy to take any old hands. Nomula was first on the draw. Nomula, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
So the lunch is taken at 12:22. and the duration of lunch is 40 minutes. So the first ball after lunch will be bowled at 13:02.
Yeah.
Since WP Corp's captain has not taken the field, so our calculation starts at 13:02.
Yeah.
And he hasn't taken the field until the batting team was bowled out as well. So from 13:02 to 14:27, it is 85 minutes. The time is off the field, but there is an interval, drinks interval in between, which is a scheduled break, and it will not count for or against Quinton. So we need to deduct a 4-minute drinks interval from the 85 minutes is off the field. So it will be 81 minutes. That is, that's the penalty time he still needs to serve.
Yeah.
So now at 14:27, Bolan Falls are bowled out. Now there is a change of innings interval from 14:27 to 14:37. That's also a scheduled break. Even that will not count for or against Quinton. So he still need to serve about 81 minutes. So WP Calls will start their innings at 14:37 because the innings ended more than 30 minutes to tea. So tea will not be taken immediately, and there will be a innings change interval immediately. So WP Calls will start their innings at 14:37. So from 14:37 till 15:20, it is 53 minutes.
Yeah.
So Quinton, by the start of tea interval, the penalty time served by Quinton will be 53 minutes. So he needs to serve 81 minutes, and he has served 53 minutes. So at the start of tea interval, the penalty time still need to be served is 28 minutes. So the tea interval from 15:20 to 15:40 is also a scheduled break, and it will not count for or against him. So when the play resumes at 15:40, the penalty times he still will be served is 28 minutes. So the first ball post T will be bowled at 15:40. So he will need to serve 28 minutes. So it will be at 16:08. Or if or if 5-wicket falls, which I raised earlier. Wait, I think we need to see if there is any drinks interval when WP calls are batted.
No, there wouldn't be a drinks interval.
Then it will be at 16:08 or 5-wicket fall, whichever is earlier.
100% correct, Nomula. I was doing it while you were talking through it, and we've got to the same answer. So I believe that we are both correct. I'm sure Abdullah will correct me if we're not. So well done. What you've done very well there. Yes, Abdullah.
Tom, just to confirm, at tea time, how much penalty time does he owe?
28 minutes. Because he served 53 before.
Because how did we get to 28? So when the inning started at 14:37, how many minutes was it till tea?
53. No.
Yes, there is
23. Sorry.
23 plus
20. It's 43, isn't it?
43.
43, not 53. Yes,
Not
sorry, that's a
53.
mistake there. 43. Yes, yes. Since
Okay,
I was
so
doing all the random, I was doing all the calculations in my mind. There is no paper with me. There was a mistake there.
so he owed us at tea time 38 minutes,
38 minutes.
not
Yes,
28.
correct.
So he can bat at 16-18
18:05 down, yes.
or 5 wickets down, whichever comes first. Thank you, Abdullah, for the great audit work there. And Nomula, you did go through the answer step by step. And what's also important, and that's where we went wrong, is when you are calculating times, you need to be very careful because
Yeah, cool, yes.
we all know that minutes don't end, an hour doesn't end at 100 minutes, it ends at 60 minutes. So a little bit trickier to use your calculator for time calculations than it is for normal other calculations. But just literally take your time. Make sure you write down the times. And what I do is I'll say, what is 1437 until 1500? That's 23 minutes. And then 1500 until 1520 is 20 minutes. So 23 plus 20 gives us the 43 minutes that he had served at the tea break. I find that if you try and calculate it in your head from 1437 to 1520, you are more likely to make a mistake than if you break it down to the top of the hour and then from the top of the hour until the tea break, add those two numbers together. So good. Well done on the process. Let's just refine the calculations. Conrad, you've got your hand up. Please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I just would like to ask, is it better to use just the minutes, like Nomula did? He said 85 minutes, or is it better to use then, for example, an hour and 25 minutes?
I think we generally use minutes, Conrad, because again, when you are calculating times, to add or to subtract an hour and 25 minutes, I think is more difficult than to add or subtract 85 minutes to a certain time, if that makes sense. So whatever is easier for you, but I think using minutes rather than hour and minutes is far easier to calculate. Good. Last revision question for this evening, and then we shall go into the logistics that will follow for the exam. Question 23, see the picture below. What actions would you take as the bowler's end umpire in this scenario, if any? We've got a bowler here who has overstepped the popping crease by about 60 centimeters, 2 feet, maybe more. Let's call it 70 centimeters. We obviously haven't seen any previous deliveries. We're not sure if this is a serial no bowler, but this to me does not look accidental. So what does the law say about deliberate front foot no balls? Do we consider this a deliberate front foot no ball? And if we do, then what are the actions that the bowler's end umpire will take against this bowler? Anybody would like to give this a go? Please. I see a new hand. Priska Nengomwa. Please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours. Priska, please unmute your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay. As an umpire, I will consider the delivery as the front foot no ball.
Huh?
And then I'll immediately call and signal no ball. And then when the ball is dead, as an umpire, I'll direct the captain of the fielding team to suspend the bowler immediately.
Huh?
And I'll inform the other umpire of the reason of my action. And then I have to ask another bowler to complete the over.
What are the restrictions of that bowler who will complete the over?
The bowler should not bowl the previous or the next coming over.
Correct. Are we going to report this matter, or is it not a reportable offense?
I have to report the matter. I have to inform the captain and the other umpire.
Correct. Just out of interest, Priska, if this is a test match, is this bowler suspended just for the first innings, or is he suspended from bowling for the entire test match? So he can't bowl in the second innings either.
Yeah, if it's a test match, he's not allowed to bowl in the in all the innings in the upcoming inning because of the offense.
Priska, I'm looking for my law book. I can't find it, but I can ask my law guru, Abdullah, is the suspension for the innings only, or is it for the entire match, the rest of the entire match?
Innings only, Tom. Innings only.
Priska, the suspension is only for the
Only
duration.
for the duration of this innings.
Yes. So he can bowl again in the second innings. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
And can I ask, is this in this scenario, can we
Yes.
report this to the governing body of the those that are in charge of that match that day?
100% correct. It is a
Okay.
reportable
All
offense, Priska.
right. All right.
Because a deliberate no ball, especially by a fast bowler, is probably an intention by that bowler to hurt the striker. And obviously it's listed under Law 41, unfair play, and it means that we need to take action. We've taken action, yes, during the match, but the severity of the incident warrants a report, and it is up to the code of conduct of that particular match or tournament that will decide any extra punishment that will be dealt out to that player. Okay.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much, Priska. Thank you to everybody else who has taken the time and mental aptitude to answer the revision questions. They are all for your own good, and these questions also give you a indication as to what you can expect in the Cricket South Africa Level 3 exam. So on that note, I will be taking you through logistics for the exam and what is going to happen between now and the exam dates. So you will remember that we have 2 exam date options. The first one being Saturday, the 19th of July, and the exam is a 3-hour exam. It will start on Saturday at 9 a.m. South African time, and we'll go through until 12 midday. The second option is Monday, the 21st of July, next week, starting at 6 p.m. South African time, and you will have until 9 p.m. to complete the exam. The exam is 120 marks. The pass mark is 80%. So 80% of 120 is 96 marks out of 120 is the minimum you require to pass the exam. Now, who is eligible to write the exam? So your first requirement for everybody and anybody to write the exam is you need to have a level 2 umpiring certificate from any cricket country around the world. So most, if not all of you, have sent me your level 2 certificates if they are not from Cricket South Africa. So I think that requirement is met by all of you. Secondly, as we know, from the end of June, the 30th of June, myself and Abdullah had a meeting with Cricket South Africa match officials, coaches, who informed us of a new policy that candidates who wish to gain Cricket South Africa's level 3 umpiring certificate need to have been umpiring for an umpires association in South Africa for a minimum of 2 years to be able to qualify for that certificate. So those of you who are members of umpiring associations around South Africa and you have been umpiring for at least 2 years, if and when you pass the exam, you will be granted Cricket South Africa's level 3 umpiring certificate. If you do not have 2 years of umpiring experience with an umpires association in South Africa, you unfortunately, even if you pass the exam, you will not receive a Cricket South Africa level 3 umpiring certificate. You will receive a Western Province Cricket Umpires Association level 3 certificate of attendance. Okay, so there is a difference there in the certificate. We are still going to design that certificate, and obviously those of you who pass but do not have 2 years of umpiring experience with an umpires association in South Africa, that is the certificate you will receive. If you have 2 years or more of umpiring experience, but not with an umpires association in South Africa, unfortunately, this ruling still does apply. You will only get a Western Province Cricket Umpires Association level 3 certificate of attendance. Myself and Abdullah do not make the rules. We just adhere by them. And Western Province Cricket Umpires Association, being a member or an affiliate of Cricket South Africa, we need to adhere by their rulings. So that might be news to some of you who didn't tune in to our second lecture, where I first announced this new ruling. But that, unfortunately, is the way that Cricket South Africa wants to proceed for the foreseeable future. If you, for example, only have 1.5 years of umpiring experience with a umpires association in South Africa, you can still write the exam, and if you pass it, once you have 2 years of experience with your umpires association, then you can upgrade that certificate free of charge from a WPCUA certificate of attendance to a Cricket South Africa Level 3 umpiring certificate. The exam, however, is the same for everyone. Those who are writing with their associations need to write physically at the head office of your umpires association, which is Newlands Cricket Ground for Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. Those of you who are not in South Africa, you will obviously be writing online using our website Exam Online. We used it for level 2 in May. And what I will do is I will, tomorrow when I send through the revision questions, I will also put a link in the email of the click-by-click demonstration of how to go through the exam. It requires minimum system requirements, which you need to check a few days or a day or two before the exam, so that you don't have any troubles on the actual exam date. I am in fact going to put the YouTube video link in our chat box. So if you want to have a look at those minimum system requirements as well as the click-by-click demonstration, you are free to do so as soon as you want. Of course, the lectures are free, but an exam fee exists for those of you who are going to write the exam. It is 400 rands if you are in South Africa, and it is $40 if you are outside of South Africa. And on the email tomorrow as well, in fact, it's been on all the emails that I send in terms of lecture reminders. Halfway down the email is the payment links, or at least the payment details, both for the local electronic funds transfer into WPCUA's standard bank account, as well as the PayPal link for the $40. Thank you very much for all of you who have already paid. Some of you who have paid have not mentioned which day you will be writing. Please, when you send through your proof of payment to training@wpcua.co.za, we need to know which day you are writing, and also just to confirm whether you're writing at Newlands Cricket Ground or you're going to be writing online using Exam Online's website. There is one more logistic about the exam that I thought of. It is the evaluation form. So we take all of your feedback to heart, and we are always looking to improve our lectures and the exam process. So what we've done is we have created a form where you can anonymously give us feedback in terms of how you've enjoyed the course or not, what you think we can improve to make the course better. So I'm going to again send you through the link to that Google form for you to submit your feedback in terms of how you've enjoyed the course. And of course, we'll be looking to improve it further, as we always do. The exam results will come out 2 weeks after the Monday writing date. So that would be the 4th of August, and another 2 weeks after that, the 18th of August. We expect to have all the certificates, whether it's the CSA or the Western Province Cricket Umpires Association certificates, sent to you individually by email. So I think that's all the logistics I wanted to go through. Apologies that I haven't got it on a slide. I just didn't have time with the travel from Malawi back to Cape Town today. I will have it all documented on an email for easy reference for all of you. So now we are going to go back into the chat box to see if there are any questions, comments that we need to get through. Bradley says, thanks, Mr. Paleker. You mentioned that anyone can make suggestions to changes. Is there an email address where we can send suggestions for changes to playing conditions? Bradley, I've got that email address somewhere, but it will take me a while to find it. So what you can do is you can email any ICC playing conditions change suggestions to me, and I'll forward them to Pallies, and Pallies will present them if he feels they are worthy of being presented to the ICC Cricket Committee. He will take them up. Right, let me carry on. Dr. Malati thanks Mr. Paleker for those clarifications and examples on the new changes. Yes, and Palis did mention that, Bradley, you can send any suggestions to myself or Abdullah, and we will forward them to Allahudien Paleker. Dr. Malati thanking me for the information about the exams. Yes, I was traveling till yesterday, so missed that lecture where you informed about non-essay umpiring experience. So I hope all is clear now. I have been getting a few emails asking questions about the whole certificate scenario. I think it is all quite clear now, the way forward for Cricket South Africa and level 2 and level 3 certificates. For your information, those of you who maybe have friends and family wanting to do level 2, again, if you don't have umpiring experience with an umpires association in South Africa, then you will not get a Cricket South Africa level 2 certificate. You will get a Western Province Cricket Umpires Association level 2 certificate of attendance. But if you do have at least 1 year of umpiring experience with an umpires association in South Africa, and of course you've got a level 1, then you can write level 2 and get a Cricket South Africa level 2 umpiring certificate. So for level 1, you need no experience. Level 2, you need 1 year's experience. Level 3, Cricket South Africa umpiring certificate, you need 2 years of experience with an umpires association in South Africa. Bradley says, thanks, Tom and Abdullah. Could you please provide me with the credentials in writing to obtain a level 3 qualifications? Apologies as I missed lecture 2 and I have heard about the required experience before obtaining a CSA certificate. No problem, Bradley. It will all be in the email that I send out tomorrow morning with a recording of this lecture, as well as exam logistics, as well as all the certificate logistics, if you want to call them that. Ian says, if I pass the level 3 exam and don't have 2 years of experience, and after the exam I complete 2 years experience, will I receive the level 3 umpire certificate? Ian, it's not documented anywhere. I would say, and I did say earlier, I would think that you do then qualify for the Cricket South Africa level 3 umpiring certificate. But again, this is a new process which we are all still trying to feel our way around. And I think what you'll probably find is that different associations around the country handle these type of examples differently. I, being on Western Province Cricket Umpires Association Executive Committee, I would suggest and I would hope that the rest of EXCO would be happy to say, yes, Ian passed the level 3 exam before having 2 years of experience. After he's got that 2 years of experience, because he's passed the exam, he can get the level 3 Cricket South Africa umpires certificate. However, the complication with that, Ian, is that as we've seen and heard from Palis, playing conditions and laws are changing all the time, or let's say at least more regularly than they were in the past. And as a result, Cricket South Africa often brings in the policy that you need to refresh your level 3 qualification, or you need to refresh your level 2 qualification. So I think those types of decisions that you have asked about might be taken on a case-by-case basis, rather than having a blanket answer that it will definitely be given to you or it definitely won't be given to you. So I can't commit completely, but if you do join WPCUA, I can definitely table it at our next executive committee meeting, and you will get a way forward from the executive committee for your level 3 Cricket South Africa umpiring certificate. Right. Ian wants the contact details for WPCUA. Ian, if you would go back to your level 1 emails, in fact, what I'll do is have I got your email address? I'm not sure. So there is a, yes. Okay, I'll send you the membership application link, which is an online form, and you can take it from there. Bradley says, is my CSA level 2 valid as I have only 10 months experience as an umpire? This I obtained before the change of requirements. Yes, Bradley, all certificates that have been obtained and sent to you with your name on them with certificate numbers are valid and will never be taken away from you. Satraguna says he is from India and have no experience in umpiring in Cricket South Africa, but having over 5 years umpiring experience in India. Suppose I get a level 3 certificate from Western Province Cricket Umpires Association, then can I upgrade it to CSA level 3 certificate in future? Satraguna, you need to be a member of an umpires association in South Africa for 2 years to qualify for Cricket South Africa's level 3 certificate. So I don't know if you have plans for moving to South Africa, but in terms of the latest policy, that is the requirement. 2 years of umpiring in a association in South Africa. I know a lot of you have a lot of umpiring experience from around the world, but because it is a Cricket South Africa qualification, they want the experience to be in South Africa with an umpires association in South Africa. Because essentially the theory behind it is that the qualification is not just a theory-based qualification. It is now also a practical-based qualification, because as you are umpiring in those 2 years in South Africa with an umpires association, you will be getting assessed by assessors, and you will then be accredited by not just having passed the exam, but by also having been seen on the field of play as competent to be certified as a level 3 Cricket South Africa umpire. I hope that that practical element in South Africa now makes sense as to why it's required. Marshall Mathis asks, I have a level 1. How can I get level 2? And is there a link where I can go and do it? Marshall, you missed level 2 in April. We had the exams in early May. The next level 2 that we've got planned is going to start on Monday, the 1st of September, if I remember correctly. What you can do, Marshall, is email training@wpcua.co.za and ask to be added to the mailing list for the level 2 course coming up in September. And I'll make sure that you receive the course material and logistics email a week before the first level 2 lecture. C asks, sir, does that mean we have to move to South Africa for 2 years so we can get the level 3 certificate? So C, if you are not in South Africa and if you write the level 3 exam coming up in next week, and if you pass the exam, because you don't have 2 years of umpiring experience with an umpires association in South Africa, you will not receive Cricket South Africa's level 3 umpiring certificate. You will receive Western Province Cricket Umpires Association level 3 certificate of attendance. So you will still get a certificate. It's just not a Cricket South Africa certificate. If you do want a Cricket South Africa level 3 certificate, yes, you have to be umpiring in South Africa as a member of an umpires association in South Africa for a minimum of 2 years. I hope that is clear. Satruguna says, thank you so much, Abdullah and Tom, for your valuable time spent with us. Sorry, Suranga gives that message of thanks. Conrad says, in short, some of us will meet on Teams for a level 3 course in 2027. Conrad, you are welcome to join us for level 1, which will be starting next week, Tuesday. You're welcome to join us for level 2 starting in September, and any other courses that we present. Everyone is always welcome. Zahid asks, is the use of calculators in the exams allowed? Yes, Zahid. There are calculations in the level 3 exam, so yes, you can use a calculator. You are not allowed to use your mobile phone as a calculator. You need a traditional calculator. It can be a small one, it can be a big one, it can be a scientific one, as long as it is not connected to the internet in any way. So please bring a calculator along, leave your phone in the car or in your bag. No phones allowed in the exam, just calculators, rulers, and pens. For those of you writing at Newlands, we will provide the answer sheet that you will write your answers in, and obviously we will have the question papers printed for you. Just a reminder not to take the question paper with you when you leave the exam room. It needs to be handed back in with your answer sheet. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a lot of logistics, but I think and I hope that all of your answers have been answered. All of your questions have been answered. I wish that we could continue to offer everyone around the world Cricket South Africa's level 2 and level 3 umpiring certificates, but that is not the way that Cricket South Africa wants to go at the moment. They want the experience to be built in South Africa with Umpires Association, and we have to abide by those guidelines. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for your attendance over the last 7 lectures. We have given you everything from the new boundary playing conditions to Pali's stop clock incidents, a world first in one-day international cricket. So I hope that it's not just the theory and the certificates that you come here for. I hope that you've gained some practical experience, or at least know-how in terms of dealing with practical scenarios that you might come up on the field of play. So thank you very much as well to Abdullah for holding the fort while I was unavailable, one of the lectures, and of course his excellent and thorough lecturing of the laws that he has taken us through. We will also be mentioning on the emails subsequent to the exams that if anybody seeks one-on-one or personal training, whether it's online or face-to-face, myself and Abdullah are available at a fee to give you an hour worth of training per day for however many days you want to take training for. The topics are open to anything and everything about cricket umpiring. We, as you know, improve ourselves as trainers as well as umpires by delivering quality training, because for us to deliver quality training, we need to go research topics and make sure that we understand what it is that we are going to be presenting on a daily and weekly basis. So there's a lot more to come still. We've got a Make the Call live episode planned for the end of the month. Stay tuned for that. I think that will knock your socks off. So until then, all the best for your level 3 exam. You know all the details, you know all the content, you know how to answer questions, and I'm sure you'll all do well. Thank you once again, and all the best. One suggestion from Satruguna: if there are any participating certificate can be delivered for this course and upcoming courses. Satruguna, the certificates we send out are always by PDF and we email them. I'm not sure if you say, when you say delivered, if you mean by post. Do you want to maybe unmute and unpack your statement? Because I'm not 100% sure I understand your suggestion, Satrugana.
Yeah, hi Tom, hi Abdullah. It's a suggestion from myself. At least participating certificate can be delivered, means generated online certificate.
Yes.
Yeah, for the participation only, not the exam purpose.
For participation only, Satrugana. We haven't thought of that, and also we when we did briefly speak about it, Abdullah and I both agreed that we can't just give certificates to people for attending lectures, because we don't know the level of understanding that you have gauged from listening to us. And in fact, you could attend a lecture, or at least you could seem to be online and you are on the call, but you could be watching England against India test match with the volume off for the lecture. So we can't, there's no way for us to verify that you're actually listening and also engaging in the lecture. So no, we won't be consider giving certificates just for lecture attendances. So yeah, thanks for the suggestion, Satruguna, and we're always open to suggestions. And maybe Dr. Malati has got a suggestion for us. Doc, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
No, Tom, actually, there is no suggestion as such. I loved the way you said, because I guess even I was doing exactly the same thing, attending the lecture, watching the game. Of course, I did attend though still. But anyway, so I actually wanted to just thank you and Abdullah, and Mr. Paleker. Wonderful lectures. I know last time when I attended also somebody asked me, why am I attending this? I don't know. Every time it is amazing how you both give the examples, the scenario, and how much you explain. It's just lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you so much, Tom and Abdullah. Actually, I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Malati. And I must say, we don't do these lectures for praise and any sort of accolades. We do it to enrich the umpiring careers of others, and I'm glad that you and the other 30 odd people still on this call have enjoyed the course and will be improving their umpiring as a result. Next hand up, Mike, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I have to echo what Doc says, because, and I encourage everyone to even go back into the archives on YouTube and review the lectures, guys, because it's invaluable. what you guys put into this, the effort you put into this. And I can't, from a personal standpoint, I can't thank you enough, because every time I'm out in the middle, it just makes a difference. And I just appreciate both what you and Abdullah have done, and continue to plan to join in level 1 next week when I can, if work allows. You might see me on there. Please keep me on the email lists, because I would love to, especially to your point, as the playing conditions evolve.
Yeah.
Right. The lectures are going to change. The information is going to change. Your how you prepare your slides and everything's going to be different. So I want to keep up with that. I think that's valuable for everybody that's umpiring, is to keep in tune with that.
100%, Mike. Thank you so much for your kind words on email a couple of weeks ago, and now again live on a lecture. I always encourage our Western Province Cricket Umpires Association members, even those with the level 3, even those with a level 4, to tune in for level 1 lectures, tune in for level 2 lectures, tune in for level 3 lectures, because you'll always pick something new up that you've either forgotten or it has changed. So you need to refresh. And the same way that players practice day in, day out, week in, week out, us as umpires also have to sharpen our skills and stay relevant and make sure that we are on top of any changes to laws, playing conditions, and code of conduct, documents, etc. So thank you, Mike, for your support and your kind words, and thank you to everyone else as well who have supported us over the years. We will continue to grow, we will continue to evolve, and we will continue to hopefully improve the standards of umpiring everywhere around the world and keep preaching the gospel of cricket. So once again, thank you to everyone. And Jojo, I knew I shouldn't have mentioned level 4. You've asked the question, now I have to answer it. Level 4 is only for those umpires in South Africa who have been identified by Cricket South Africa after, say, 5 to 10 years of experience, where they've been through Cricket South Africa age group tournaments and have done well. Then you might be nominated, or at least you might be invited to write Cricket South Africa's level 4 exam. And it's not open to the public. It is only for South Africans who have been umpiring in South Africa at a high level, and they have been identified as being capable of umpiring first-class cricket in South Africa. So unfortunately, that course is not open to the public. We can't give it. There is no course, in fact. And the exam is definitely not open to the public. It is by invitation from Cricket South Africa only. So that is why we have never offered it. And I don't think we will ever offer a level 4 course and exam. Nomula, your hand is up. Please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours.
My question is regarding law 37, obstructing in the field. The day when we were discussing revision questions, so one of them was on obstructing the field and the run scored when either batter is dismissed, obstructing the field. So actually, the law says when either batter is dismissed obstructing the field, and if the obstruction prevents the striker being out caught, any run scored will be disallowed, right?
Correct.
So one of our revision questions, I think it's question number 17, if I'm not wrong. For given scenario, 2 sub questions. For the same scenario, one is it's a fly delivery, and the other one, how do you interpret that scenario if it's a no ball? So I think
Yes.
During the no ball scenario, I think you said that the run the first run that is completed will now be scored because it's the no ball.
Correct.
So I am a bit confused with it because in the losses, even if either bat is in that case, the non-strike is out because it's a no ball. Even so, the losses when either batter is dismissed obstructing the field, still all runs to be disallowed if the catch is obstructed of the striker. So I'm a bit confused with there. So I think if you can rediscuss it again.
Good question, Nomula. I'm just, I've got the law book open on my screen, but I'll give you my thought process behind that, and Abdullah can confirm or deny if that is correct or not. Remember, a batter cannot be out-caught of a no ball. So an obstruction, if there is a no ball, that obstruction cannot prevent a catch from being taken. Physically, it can prevent a catch from being taken, yes, but I think when law talks about preventing a catch from being taken, I think they mean that preventing the striker from being out caught. So that is why the runs will be scored. Abdullah, while I look through the law exactly, can you maybe give some input on that question from Nomula?
Yes, Tom, yes, you're spot on. You need to look at it. There's in two sections. The first one speaks about if the obstruction prevents a catch from being taken, no runs to be scored. That's the first one. Then the second one in terms of runs scored, every other obstruction then falls under that. So in terms of runs scored, there's two sections. One, if the obstruction prevents a catch, and now it's no runs to be scored. And then all other obstruction will then fall under the other category that says, in terms of runs scored, the completed runs to count in all other type of obstruction instead and not a catch. So as soon as a no ball gets called, then the law then says yes, technically a catch cannot be taken. That's why that obstruction will now fall under that other section where you now need to score the runs that was completed.
Understood 100%, Abdullah. And in fact, 37.5.2 is pretty clear. It says, if the obstruction or distraction prevents the striker from being out caught. So it doesn't say if the obstruction or distraction prevents a catch from being taken. It specifically says prevents the striker from being out caught. Then any runs completed shall not be scored. Nomula, are you happy with that clarity?
Yes, I got a bit confused between exactly catch being completed and out caught. Of course, you cannot be out caught from the novel. Yes, very clear. Thanks for the clarification. That is why I wanted to ask. There was a bit of confusion regarding that, and it's clear. And also one more part. Of course, it's no. Oh, okay. Clear. Because one more thing I wanted to add is like here, since it's not preventing being out caught, the incoming batter will take the striker's end because the non-striker, the first run is completed, and the striker has gone down to the bowlers and the bowlers umpires, and so the incoming batter will take the striker's end. If it prevents being out caught, then I think batter should go back to the original end, right?
That's correct. Yes, any not out batter, which would be the non-striker, would return to his or her original end. Correct.
Thanks for the clarification, Tom and Abdullah. Thank you. Clear now. There is a slight difference between catch being completed and out caught. Thank you.
Good question, and I'm glad we were able to clear up your doubts there, Nomula. It is now 15 minutes past 8 p.m. on Monday, the 14th of July. I do not see any more questions in the chat box. I don't see any hands in the meeting room. So once again, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody for their attendance and their input into all of our lectures. We do value your interaction, and that's how we all learn together. All the best to all of you writing the level 3 exam, and we shall see you maybe on level 1, maybe on TV someday umpiring a big match, or maybe on the park together with us. Stick with us, and you never know where you'll end up. Thank you once again. Keep well, everybody. Good luck for the exams. Thank you and goodbye.
Cheers, Tom. Thank you kindly.
Thanks.
Much appreciated.
Bye.